Now, riled up by today's poll, the Prime Minister blamed Peter Dutton for the 6% fall in support for Labor's voice and the 6% rise in opposition to it. Today, he said Dutton was, quote, creating confusion, and that he claimed that his approach was, how on earth do we get this done together?
The Liberal Party are showing, at least Peter Dutton is showing, that he wants to create as much confusion and is doing nothing that would indicate that his starting point is, okay, how do we work on this together? How do we get this done together?
Now, hang on. Not once has the government asked the opposition to sit down and help design any Indigenous voice. Right from the start, it's been the PM's signature project, the one thing that would write him into history books because these Labor PMs love a legacy. Indeed, ever since he told the Garma conference that there would be a constitutionally entrenched voice, that it would be a voice to the executive government, not just the parliament, and that it could advise on anything at all related to Indigenous people, it's been Albo's way or the highway. It was take it or leave it at Garma, and it's been take it or leave it ever since. And he was at it again today, falsely claiming that the voice is only about being generous and gracious to Aboriginal people.
Statement from the heart was called that for a reason. It's about people's head and their thinking about what's required, but it does require the same generosity of spirit that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people are showing with this offer to walk for reconciliation.
Yet, as I reported last night, out of revelations published in the AFR, the Financial Review, Federal Indigenous Minister Linda Burney wants to start a treaty-making and so-called truth-telling process almost immediately, regardless of any referendum. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm happy to add to our understanding of history, but rewriting history from a black perspective rather from the basis of fact, well, that's got shades of Orwell's 1984 about it. And we've now got Professor Greg Craven, constitutional law expert. In fact, my professor in this area of law when I did my degree at Melbourne University, part of the government's own voice working group. Well, Craven is conceding the High Court could interfere with government action based on whether it had consulted enough or not with any voice. Another voice supporter, Professor Marsha Langton, saying that of course, she says the High Court could force the government to consult with the voice before it acted. Otherwise, the voice would be, in her words, completely gutted, a toothless tiger. With even voice supporters now arguing over what the voice might or might not be able to do, it's way past time for the Prime Minister to respond to Dutton's calls for more detail. And as you know, I think the voice is wrong in principle to divide us by our racial heritage in our constitution. But right now, it's not the lack of bipartisanship that's derailing the voice, it's lack of detail. Fully 63% of voters in today's poll published in the Sydney Morning Herald say that they would, quote, like more information on the voice than is currently available. So it's not Dutton's fault the voice is faltering, it's the Prime Minister's and his alone. Australians are fast waking up that the PM's trying to sell them a pup and they don't like it.